Okay, first video. Worst periods of time to be alive in history. Let's get it.
There have been moments in Earth's history where being alive was almost impossible. Periods where the planet turned against everything on it and survival became the most important part. These are the 5 worst times to have been alive on Earth, starting with the least terrible and ending with the one that almost ended everything. At number 5, the Ice Age, 20,000 years ago. If you were a human being during the last glacial maximum, the planet looked nothing like it does today. Ice sheets 2 miles thick covered most of North America and northern Europe. Global temperatures were about 6 degrees Celsius colder than today, and the sea level was so low that you could walk from Russia to Alaska without getting your feet wet. Most of the planet was either frozen or drying out because the ice locked up so much water that rainfall dropped everywhere. Your daily goal was to survive. You lived in a group of maybe 30 to 50 people, and you wore animal hides stitched together with bone needles, and your home was either a cave. You wore
They use this shit right here, like these little fucking wooden stones, to like kill like some fucking beavers, dude. Holy shit, look at this. Look at this motherfucker, bro. They fucking the whole time, like while staring at that shit.
Animal hides stitched together with bone needles, and your home was either a cave or a shelter made from mammoth bones and skins. Food meant hunting animals that were actively trying to kill you. Woolly mammoths weighed around 6 tons. Cave lions were bigger than any lion today. Short-faced bears stood over 3 meters tall on their hind legs and could outrun you on open ground. Cave hyenas hunted in packs, and you were going after these things with sharpened sticks and rocks because, unfortunately, that's all you had. But the winter was the real killer. In Northern Europe and Asia, temperatures regularly dropped below minus 30 degrees Celsius. The sun was up for maybe 6 hours a day if you were lucky. Finding enough calories to keep your body warm meant eating roughly 3,000 to 4,000 calories daily, which is pretty difficult when the most of the landscape is frozen and the animals you need to eat are better hunters than you are. If the predators didn't get you, infection probably would. A cut from a flint tool, a broken bone from a fall, a bite from something you were trying to eat, any of these could kill you because...
Nah, but this is like AI. I feel like humans won most of the time. I feel like they would honestly just like circle these things and just start fucking stab, stab, stab. I mean, people probably did die a lot of the time, but it was like, they'd probably have like fucking 30 people, and probably maybe 5 tops would die.
Antibiotics wouldn't exist for another 19,900 years. So your life expectancy was somewhere around 30 to 35 years, and most people weren't that lucky. But at least humans survived this. They adapted, invented better tools, mastered fire, and eventually the ice melted and the world warmed up. The Ice Age was brutal, but it is nothing compared to everything else on this list. At number 4, the late Jurassic, 150 million years ago. Forget about being human for this one because we didn't exist yet. You're a small mammal, maybe the size of a little shrew, living in a world that was not built for you. The late Jurassic was the golden age of dinosaurs, and everything was massive. The average temperature was around 20 degrees Celsius globally, there was no ice anywhere on the planet, and the continents were arranged in ways that would make a modern map completely useless. North America alone had over 40 known dinosaur species living at the same time. Allosaurus, the dominant predator, weighed around 1.7 tons and accounted for 75% of all carnivore fossils found in the Morrison Formation. But Allosaurus wasn't even the biggest predator around. Saurophaganax weighed up to 5 tons. Torvosaurus weighed around 4, and there were at least 10 different species of theropod predators.
These ones are so cool. The fucking big ass, like elephants. We got Stegosaurus. I didn't know Stegosauruses were that big. We got the Colombos at the bottom. Love Colombos, I can't lie. The ones from Fortnite too. They add those because of real life. Or Fortnite added because real life. I don't even know. And we got Spinosaurus.
Sharing the same ecosystem that could eat you in seconds. And the herbivores were no safer to be around either. Sauropods like Brachiosaurus and Diplodocus weighed around 13 to 70 tons and could step on you the way you'd step on an ant. But the droughts made things even worse. The late Jurassic experienced
talk about Columbosaurus. Hold up. Real life Columbosaurus. Dino with big club tail. This motherfucker right here. Yeah, the Columbosaurus, bro. This motherfucker was insane. He'd fucking two-piece. What was that game, Jurassic World? Like the game, and it's like on your phone, and you'd collect dinosaurs, and that motherfucker two-piece if you got him leveled up. I'm not even playing. Like his shit was insane. He doesn't want to mention him though. That's fucking rough.
Severe dry seasons where water sources shrank and every animal in the ecosystem crowded around whatever was left. Fossil evidence from these drought periods shows extreme levels of cannibalism among theropods, predators attacking other predators, and scavenging on a scale that turned watering holes into killing grounds. Mammals lived in the shadow of animals that could crush them by accident, waiting for a chance that wouldn't come until an asteroid cleared the entire board. At number 3, the End Cretaceous, 66 million
The fucking what? The End Cretaceous.
years ago. This is the one that everyone knows about, but most people don't understand.
Everyone knows about. I guess not me.
And how bad it actually was. An asteroid roughly 12 kilometers wide hit the Yucatan Peninsula.
Bro, this is the fucking... Yo, who knows what the fucking Yucatan Peninsula is, bro? Just say it's the dinosaur ender, the asteroid. Like, that would make more sense. What the hell is the End Cretaceous?
At around 20...
Oh, it's Cretaceous, like, the dinosaur age? Is that what it's called? And it was the end of the...
20 kilometers per second. The energy released was billions of times more powerful than any nuclear weapon ever built. If you were anywhere within about 1,500 kilometers of the impact, you were dead immediately. The shockwave flattened everything. Beyond that radius, things didn't get that much better. They just got slower. The impact launched billions of tons of rock and dust into the atmosphere.
Shit, they got this shit on recording?
Which blocked sunlight globally for years.
How did they record it if there was no humans, though?
Then the sulfur from vaporized rock mixed with water
like AI or
came down as acid rain that poisoned water sources across entire continents. The food chain collapsed from the bottom up. Plants couldn't photosynthesize without sunlight, so they all just died. Herbivores starved because the plants were gone and the predators followed. And the oceans weren't really any better. The acid rain and temperature changes killed phytoplankton, which is the base of the entire marine food web. Wildfires spread across multiple continents in the days following the impact, triggered by superheated debris raining back down through the atmosphere. And the smoke from those fires added to the dust that was already blocking the sun. For months after the impact, the sky was essentially just black. The temperature swings were so extreme that
2010. Last day of the dinosaurs, 2010. This is like fucking... What? 2010.
Just black. The temperature swings were so extreme that regions went from tropical to near freezing in weeks, and anything that couldn't burrow underground or survive underwater had almost no chance. About 75% of all species on Earth went extinct, including non-avian dinosaur,
Ooh. Triple horn ceratops is also tough as fuck.
Including non-avian.
Yeah, triple horns right here. 1, 2, 3, and then you got like a little bird beak. I don't know what the hell this flat flake fucking, this is like a platypus or some shit. And we got the T-Rex in the background.
Dinosaur, every pterosaur, every marine reptile, and most of the large animals that had dominated the planet
Mosasaurus?
For over
Ooh, Inklehead.
100
These are the ram heads right here.
million years. The animals that survived were mostly small because they could burrow underground, eat dead organic matter, or go longer periods without food. Mammals, birds, crocodilians.
What the fuck? We got turtles. I don't know what the hell these club heads are.
Turtles, small lizards, and insects, they made it through. But the recovery took millions of years. And for the species that were alive during the actual impact and its aftermath, every single day was a question of whether there would be anything left to eat the next day. At number 2, the Toba supervolcano, 74,000 years ago.
Oh,
this one
yes, I
is
don't know what this is.
specifically about humans, and it's the
shit.
closest our species ever came to extinction. Around 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano in what is now Indonesia erupted.
Yeah, but how would that extinct us? Because like, there's no way that's hitting all the way across in. Oh, maybe like smoke.
With a force that makes every other volcanic eruption in human history look like a campfire. It launched over 2,800 cubic kilometers of
Is this actual recording?
material into the atmosphere, which is roughly enough to bury the entire United States.
When was the Tuba supervolcano?
The world's largest volcanic eruption to happen in the past 100 years was the June.
What was the Toba supervolcano? What year did that happen?
Okay, I found.
You know what? Never mind. Fuck that.
Under a layer of ash. The eruption triggered a volcanic winter that lasted somewhere between 6 and 10 years. Global temperatures dropped by as much as 15 degrees Celsius. And same as with the asteroid, the sunlight was blocked, which killed plants and made predators starve. But unlike 66 million years ago, this time we were now living through it. We were already a relatively small population of early Homo sapiens living in Africa and possibly parts of Asia, and we got hit with the worst climate crisis any human had ever faced. The total human population dropped to somewhere between 3,000 and 10,000 individuals, trying to survive in a world where the sun barely came through and there was nothing to eat. Every single person alive today is descended from that tiny group of survivors, including you. The genetic bottleneck is so tight that humans have less genetic diversity than most primate species, and Toba is the leading explanation for why. If you were alive during those years, you spent your entire existence searching for whatever you could find in a dying landscape, while your group got smaller and smaller every season. Hunting was nearly impossible because the animals you depended on were starving too, and many of them simply died out in your area. You ate shellfish, roots, insects, whatever was left on the coastlines that still had any life to them at all. The fact that anyone survived is genuinely difficult to explain, and some researchers think it all came down to a handful of coastal populations in southern Africa that could still access marine food sources when everything inland was gone. And at number 1, the Permian extinction, 252 million years ago. This is the big one, the worst thing that has ever happened to life on Earth. Scientists call it the Great Dying, and the name is not dramatic enough for what actually happened. 252 million years ago, a volcanic system in what is now Siberia, known as the Siberian Traps, started erupting. And it wasn't a single volcano. It was a volcanic province the size of Western Europe that poured lava across millions of square
It's like Floor's lava from Fortnite. It just keeps rising, you know what I'm saying?
square kilometers for roughly a million years. The eruptions released an estimated 100,000 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, along with massive amounts of sulfur dioxide, methane, and other gases that turned the planet into something barely recognizable. Global temperatures rose by about 10 degrees Celsius. The oceans warmed up so much they couldn't hold dissolved oxygen anymore, turning vast stretches of deep water into dead zones. Hydrogen sulfide, a gas that is toxic to most life, started bubbling up from these oxygen-starved oceans into the atmosphere. The ozone layer was damaged by the chemical reactions, allowing increased ultraviolet radiation to reach the surface, which mutated plant spores and killed vegetation extinction across entire continents. The numbers are almost impossible to process. About 96% of all marine species disappeared. 70% of terrestrial vertebrates went extinct. Even insects, which had survived every other mass extinction in Earth's history, lost more than half of their families. The entire ecosystem didn't just collapse, it ceased to exist. Coral reefs vanished completely and didn't recover for 10 million years. Forests disappeared from the tropics and were replaced by fungal blooms feeding on the dead wood. If you were alive during the Permian extinction, here's what your world would have looked like. The air was hot, thick with CO2, and in coastal areas, poisonous from hydrogen sulfide seeping out of the ocean. The sky had a strange greenish tint from all the gas, and the smell was unbearable. The water was warm and oxygen-pleated, killing everything that couldn't surface to breathe. Rivers and lakes turned stagnant and toxic. Acid rain stripped vegetation from the land until entire landscapes were just bare rock and mud. The soil eroded into the landscape in massive quantities, further smothering marine life. The temperatures were so extreme that in equatorial regions, nothing complex could survive on land at all, with surface temperatures reaching over 50 degrees Celsius in some areas, and the only habitable zones were pushed toward the poles, which had gone from frozen to temperate. The recovery took somewhere between 5 and 10 million years. For context, the entire existence of the genus Homo, from the earliest human ancestor to you watching this right now, spans about 2.8 million years. The Earth was essentially broken for at least twice as long as humans have existed. Life did eventually come back, and the survivors went on to become the ancestors of dinosaurs, mammals, and everything else that followed. But for those millions of years during and after the Great Dying, the planet was as close to sterile as it has ever been since life first appeared over 3 billion years ago. These were the 5.
Damn. Okay, that was a tough ass video. I'm gonna drop a little like on that. Next video.